Hello, Sim here. So Modern Warfare is almost here, and so in this video I'm going to share my thoughts and concerns about MW19. If you wish to see future MW19 content on this channel, i.e. you want me to buy it, yep, I've not pre-ordered it, smash that like button. Otherwise, hit the dislike. These will act as a guide for me. I'm fairly sure you probably want it, but I need you to confirm by clicking that like button. So, if you enjoy informative videos and like to know how to buff your gaming network, make sure you are subscribed and that you've hit that bell icon so that you get notified of when new videos arrive and when I go live. So just prior to the open alpha, we had that Twitch stream showcasing Gunfight. My initial opinions when I watched just a few minutes of it was, well, I'm not interested. It was not the traditional COD 6v6, it was 2v2 on very small maps with a fast time to kill. I didn't really watch much more. I needed to experience it. Finally, the open alpha was nearing, so time to dust off the PS4 that was gathering all those cobwebs, download the latest console updates and patiently await the alpha to be available. Graphically, the game looks okay, and it did not look like it was stuttering on my PS4 base model because all of these latest games was a big concern for me. Are they going to run okay on base models? Because we've all been focusing for the pros and the 1Xs. The pre-hype jazz had all been about, look at our new photorealistic graphics engine. It's a major rewrite from the ground up. Enjoy that photogrammetry. My reaction to all of that hype was, well, I don't really care about the graphics. I care about the networking. If that network code is still the original hacked one that's not been revamped, it can look pretty as whatever it wants to look like. It can look gorgeous, but if that online gaming experience is broken, well, so is the game regardless of how pretty it looks. With Gunfight, it's just 2v2, so a maximum of 4 players. Pretty light loading for that network code. Did it play perfectly every game? Nope. Most of the time it did play well though. Somewhere around that 90 to 95% of the time it appeared to be okay. But there were definite times it lagged and it just did not play well. Didn't bode well for a maximum of 4 players. Okay, take a deep breath. It's just an alpha, right? I hear people say. But the networking for multiplayer game is pretty fundamental, so it better be pretty locked in or, Houston, we have a problem. At one point I wondered if people were being kicked by the server, but after talking to other mates, they were seeing it too. Yeah, it's an alpha, no stats are publicly available, but people were still rage quitting. Even when their team was winning. Was winning being the operative word because then it was 2v1 and this did happen a lot. I also think these game modes didn't suit most people. However, I did enjoy it, especially the OSP variant of Gunfight, which I nicknamed the zombie mode alternative, simply because you had to go and pick guns up just like in zombies. I preferred the OSP variant because it encourages and forces you the gamer to rush. Why? Because you've got to go and run and pick up a weapon. Which brings you to the next challenge. Where are those weapons? And what are the best for your playstyle and where are those best ones for the map you're playing? So it introduced a little bit of additional skill. The traditional gunfight mode could be I'm going to hang back at the back of the map, camp and wait for the enemy. It was a very boring playstyle. On the whole though, I did enjoy the alpha. But noticed a lot of my COD friends, basically the majority of them, were not playing it. Was it down to the game mode not being for them? Post the alpha came a big concern. Very noticeable by all of those still playing Black Ops 4. Yep, that good old skill-based matchmaking got increased significantly. Every match felt like it was an MLG tournament. It was crazy. Was this a sign of things to come? Getting the hardcore COD players ready for the Modern Warfare 19's skill-based matchmaking? Dunno. Anyway, the open beta weekend arrived, and I really did not like or enjoy the game. Why? Well, it was simply not COD as I knew it. The days of rushing were over. Forget all of that silliness and the crazy class setups from the old days. We're now in a serious competitive MLG gaming mode, but worse. because it would be boring to watch. Lots of people would just camp and sit in corners. Just sit there, literally. It was, especially in night vision mode, it was terrible. As well as camp on lines of sight, and the game just all became about angles, regardless that we had a mini-map that was available by the time I was playing it. Yes, it became very tactical, something not traditionally associated with Call of Duty. It had very much become a Battlefield clone, but had a play style that was worse than Battlefield. Objective players were no longer rewarded for playing the objective. From a score streak perspective, the focus was now on kills, as kill streaks returned. Yes, players capturing objectives would be rewarded with points and help the team win, but kill streaks and nukes were even worse, because it would allow a team who were not playing the objective to win the match, because if they're calling a nuke, they win the game. Doesn't matter that you were like 10 points away from winning it. If they're calling that nuke, game over. They won. How does that make sense? It doesn't. The 10v10 and 20v20 modes for domination really were Battlefield-like. Obviously the 20v20 was even more so. In other words, it just played like Conquest. But again, the objective wasn't really being played. Headquarters did force players to move a bit more. There's only one thing to capture at a time, so you need to move around the map, even if you're just going to camp that objective to go and kill enemies who are flocking towards it. Cyber Attack was a search and rescue variant from Call of Duty Ghosts, which was another take on SMD. Instead of collecting dog tags to revive teammates, you could go to a fallen teammate, go and heal them in a certain period of time, and hey presto, they're back in the fight. And that makes it, from an S&D variant perspective, much more interesting to play, rather than really serious, you've only got one life, tough. Again, I found most game modes were just treated like team deathmatch. Hey, it's Call of Duty, man, everything's team deathmatch, forget the objective. So I went away from weekend 1 feeling, well, pretty disappointed. And I was so glad that I had not pre-ordered the game. After the disappointment of the first weekend, it took me several days, I do mean several days, to calm down and reflect upon it. Weekend 2 would give me the opportunity to play it on Xbox also. So I said to myself, change that mindset. God, as you know it, it's dead. It's now a Battlefield clone. A poor one at that, but it's moved to a tactical playstyle. At long last, we can edit classes in Call of Duty during a match, something we've had in Battlefield like forever? So with a tactical mindset, I changed my playstyle. And did I have some fun? Well, a little bit. I did have some fun, but not as much as I did in the original alpha where it was 2v2. Even though that became playable later on in the beta, I just did not go and play gunfight at all. I did play all of the modes though to get a feel of them. Shotguns were crazy. I mean, aiming down sight just seemed to give them a crazy range. I'm not sure how realistic that is. I cannot comment. I've never fired a shotgun in my life. Crossplay though did become available. So as soon as I had the beta available on my Xbox to go and play, I was on the Xbox. So there was no real visible difference from a playstyle or how the game felt. Sure, the visuals were better on my One X, you know, what do you expect? They're going to look better than a vanilla bog standard PS4. But crossplay though was one thing I wanted to try out, and that I certainly did. Once one has partied up via inviting mates using their Activision IDs, it was good. One could chat, even if it sounded like a poor man's telephone. And I'm talking about going back several decades where, you know, you're sounding like a teenager down the phone because all the lower and high ends are just cut off. Anyway, it sounded like a phone from the 70s and 80s. But you could play with mates across the PC, Xbox and PlayStation. I only got to try it out with the Xbox and PlayStation combo. And cross-play is a key element for gaming for all future games. I can now buy the game on one console and play with mates regardless of what console they game on, even if they game on this thing known as the Master Race, i.e. the PC. It was like old times gaming with mates, no longer being separated by that void of, well, you're not on my console. The pleasant surprise from Crossplay was that all my progress from the PS4 and those class setups were just instantly transferred and available on the Xbox. Yep, that means your progress and class setups were now tied to your Activision account, no longer your gaming platform account. Meaning if I decided to buy the game for another platform down the line, I would no longer be disadvantaged for not having gamed as much on that platform. And of course, any progress I made on this alternate platform would be available on my primary one. Ground War being 32v32 became available halfway through that second weekend. Time to truly test out that netcode. Graphically, the game seemed to stand up to the number of players and stuff that was going on. I don't recall any severe frame rate drops. It could have happened, but I just don't recall it. And in general, the network code seemed to be reasonable. I'm not saying that there were no BS deaths. They definitely did exist. Unfortunately. Again, that BS factor really depended on the quality of the dedicated service. And in Europe, that quality at times seems to be questionable. And it's nice to see that this was confirmed by our Canadian YouTuber, who's living in Europe these days, Exclusive Ace, as he reported having similar issues. Now, Ground War really brought out that Battlefield clone experience, and I expected squad spawn killing. It's nothing unusual if you've ever played Battlefield. Wrong timing and spawning on your teammates whilst they're in a gunfight is generally not a good idea. It can make really interesting gameplay for montages, but yeah, it's not good fun. However, if you're playing the objective, you can spawn on that objective that's under threat to keep it, or tactically decide to spawn on another objective to make sure that you've got a nice front and stuff to progress on and tactically take the next objective. On day one of Ground War, I had a lot of fun in general, and I thought to myself, geez, Ground War might save this game. I might actually buy it. Blimey. Shocker. But by day two, skill-based matchmaking seemed to have kicked in. Because, well, we now have the stats on how you play this game mode and, well, it was less fun. Was it because I was tired of it? Who knows, but the BS seemed to be more prevalent on that day two of Ground War. So by the end of weekend 2, I had a bitter taste in my mouth. The other question I asked myself, did I really want to play super sweaty and tactical all the time? Sure, I could do it. I could go on a 10 kill streak easily. I did it multiple times throughout the beta weekends. And I called in VTOLs, and of course on weekend 2 I called in a white phosphorus. But do I really want to play that way? And also, how would it come across in streams? Sim's super concentrating. Oh, it's really slow gameplay here. It's really... And he's not talking. He must be... God, what's going on? Ah, next. Let's go to watch somebody else. This is boring. So, is it gonna be interesting enough to watch? So apart from the sweaty, tactical, campy, lines of sight and angles playstyle, it's gonna be boring to watch. The biggest concern I had, even more so over than just this playstyle, was SBMM. Yeah, skill-based matchmaking. Lag Ops 4 had its skill-based matchmaking ratcheted up a big time just to prepare us for Modern Warfare 19. And is it a sign of things to come? That's what's in my head. Going, oh my god, this is going to be really bad. You know, skill-based matchmaking is going to be the thing that's going to kill this game. Of course, you know, I have so much trust. I was waiting for more BS. I mean, surprise announcements to arrive from Activision. The biggest issue I have with Activision is, surprise, surprise, trust. I just don't trust them. And I don't think gamers as a whole trust them anymore. But don't worry. Our loot boxes are just cosmetic only, honest gov. Yeah, right. How many times have you said that before? To then put weapons into this gambling system around Christmas time. You've been saying that since Black Ops 3, for crying out loud, man. Loot boxes should just be outlawed, full stop. But wait a minute, in recent days, guess what? Pre-orders must have been lower because there was a community backlash and loot boxes have been removed. Woohoo! They're replaced with battle passes. But honest gov, they're truly cosmetic. I don't know. Apparently, I hear it's more like Fortnite, but since I don't play Battle Royale or Fortnite, I cannot really comment on battle passes. I'll have to let you guys comment down below in the comments. And I just don't have the time to follow every minute of gaming news. I'm glad that gambling, if truly gambling is out, i.e. loot boxes and these battle passes are not gambling and you get a known content, then that's a good thing from a you pay for something and you get stuff, but I don't know how it works. The biggest positive though is crossplay. One can game with mates and that progress and class setups follow you across platforms. And another thing, now DLC maps, everybody gets them. There is no buy DLC maps, they're free. So this stops the player base from becoming fragmented and thus stops the degradation of matchmaking during the life of the game. And this is definitely a good thing. If I didn't do YouTube, I, as a gamer, would wait for the game to launch and see what the issues are. How much BS is going to arise? Are the dedicated servers rubbish? Do I have dedicated servers in my region? It's launch time now, we really truly know what's been stood up or not. Or do I have to game on a server that's in another country or across the world from me? Only then could I, as a gamer, consider whether it's worth buying. And then, well, probably pick it up when it went on sale. At least it's got a campaign, right? Whew. Even if the multiplayer looks, nah, at least it's got a decent campaign. Well, we would know that it's definitely decent by then, right? All the reviews will be out. So, as a YouTuber, will I buy it? Well, I'm going to leave that up to you. Hit the like button if you want me to do so. Until next time, this has been Sim.